Hi, Patricia. Hi, Liz. How are you
Hey,
both?
Josh.
Hello.
Great to meet you.
Great to meet you. Yes.
You too. And Patricia, I've been a fan of these books since I was a teenager. And like many fans, I've been waiting a long time for this adaptation. So
Oh,
I'd love to know what was it that made this TV series the right one for you to finally bring these characters to the screen?
well, first of all, it was Jamie Lee Curtis who went into producing and decided that she wanted to do it. And then when she decides something, there you have it. It's like a train going down the track. You are not going to stop it. And then we were so lucky to attract Liz Sarnoff, who's the first person ever to figure out how to adapt this and make it work, because every other effort over the last 36 years, actually even longer than that, has failed. Including my own efforts when I've tried to write screenplays and so on. And so it's just the right people all came together and formed the perfect storm of talent.
Fantastic. And Liz, you've got 29 novels you could pick and choose from, but to tell this story over two different periods in Kay's life, where did the inspiration for that come from?
Well, I really love the books. I read them when they came out. I'm a huge fan of Patricia's as well. And so I loved the way that the crime solving has changed. And I thought, to start, I wanted to start far enough in the past that we were still waiting for DNA, basically, and start, enough in the future that we weren't. And I thought that would be an interesting thing to see how crimes are solved 30 years apart. And also, I wanted to see what the characters were like. Patricia had written a book called Autopsy where the characters were a little older, and I was just fascinated to see them again. And I thought, well, we should see both of these characters because the young one's irresistible and the older one's totally dynamic. And that's sort of where it grew out of.
Amazing. And Patricia, you've obviously spent decades with this character of Kay and telling her story. And what do you really think has given Kay, Pete, Lucy, and just all these characters this kind of lasting appeal as a storyteller and for fans who read the books?
Well, it's like my children have finally grown up and gone off to college, and they don't write me very often anymore. And there's a little bit of I have a little bit of an empty nest syndrome, I think, although I'm still writing about them. But here's the good news. Seeing these actors and playing these people has actually made me like my characters even more than I did before. And it makes my writing, I think my writing is getting better. I study what all these talented people do, and I see what works, and I go, you could learn something from that. You should try a little bit of that when you're doing your next story. So, but it is weird because I've lived with it all by myself for so long. So thank goodness it's in the hands of people that I like and respect. And that makes it a good experience.
Absolutely. And you do have a great cast from top to bottom. And for both of
Oh,
you, when did you realize that obviously Nicole Kidman and Rosie McEwen were the right people to bring these two versions of Kay Scarpetta to life?
I don't think there was anybody but Nicole for us. Jamie had a small relationship with her, and I had met with the pair Sorry, who is her producer, and mentioned that I was working on this, and he said, "Well, let us know the minute it's done." And from that point on, I don't think any of us really looked back. And then, Nicole demanded that Jamie be in the show. And then we found Rosie, who not only bears an uncanny resemblance to Nicole, but is just a beautiful actress
mhm.
who, they're seamless, the two of them between them. And they worked together, they worked separately, and they created something really magical, I think.
I know
Yeah, like
when I watched them in the series, and you would think if anybody would say, well, that's not quite like, or that's not exactly. I am totally sold. I completely believe them as Scarpetta as the younger and the older. It never even crosses my mind that there was ever anybody but them to play that. And that's telling the truth. It's amazing.
oh, that's incredible. Well, Liz, Patricia, we have to wrap, but it's been such a pleasure speaking to you both. It's a fantastic series, and I cannot wait for people to see it. So lovely to meet you both.
Thanks so
Thank you so
much.
much.
Thank you for your time.